Hey guys, and welcome to another Redstone video. As you see here, I'm back again with 3x3 trapdoors, except this time if we take a look around here, then you would notice an apparent lack of green gooey things. And that is because these two trapdoors do not use slime blocks in any way, shape, or form. But if you would still like to use the previous version of the trapdoor, which I made with Skeleton, then a link will be on the screen now for you to click. And what's special about that trapdoor is that I believe it's actually the first trapdoor of this size, which is 140 blocks. Now, of course, the two new trapdoors that are in front of me right now are vastly improved, or else I wouldn't be doing a video on them. Now, besides being slime blockless, which is of course worthy of a new video by itself, we also have a lever version of the trapdoor here. And both of these trapdoors are actually faster than the previous trapdoor, but the button one in particular has another leg up over the old one, and that is within the fact that the old one had a ridiculous post length requirement. I think it was like 10 ticks or something, or else it would break, but this new one can actually work on as small as a 2-tick post, but you'll just have to take my word for it because right here, as you see, I only have a stone button hooked up to it. But before we continue, I would like to shout out the other person who worked on these trapdoors, and that is SacredRedstone. He's an amazing redstoner, and be sure to check out his channel and subscribe to it. A link to both his channel and Skeleton's will be in the description below, of course. Now, before we get on with the tutorial, I keep stalling, but before we get on with the tutorial, I would like to point out that the majority of these two trapdoors is actually the exact same. So I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and instead of starting with the input, I'm going to be starting with the body of the redstone, and the input will be at the very end, and that is where the video will diverge. But until then, it doesn't really matter which one you want to make, just stick around and follow along until I tell you to choose your own adventure. But yeah, that's enough of this abnormally long intro. Let's get started with the tutorial. Alright, so as always, the first thing you want to do whenever you see a piston layout in front of you is you want to pause the video and make it, of course, and all of these are sticky pistons, so keep that in mind. Now, once you come back, then the first thing you want to do is place this seemingly arbitrary piston here, but remember that I said that we're not going to be starting off with the input because that's the last thing we're going to do. Instead, we're going to be starting out with this piston, and you're going to want to temporarily power that before we get the actual input there. And don't worry, you'll be able to recover whatever block you're using there later. But once you place that piston and that block, the next thing you want to do is place a repeater here. And when that piston retracts, then it'll be powering that through that torch. And over here, you're going to want to place a furnace, and you can place any item in there. And on the underside of that, you're going to want to place a sticky piston there, and that'll grab and spit out a redstone block here. Then come back to the other side, and let's get a comparator output from that furnace. And then a repeater with a 2-tick delay will be going into that from the side, and that'll be powered through that. Now, the next thing you want to do is place a sticky piston here holding a block, and what that'll do is it'll turn this dust here into a 1-tick pulse, so these only spit out and grab blocks instead of pulse back and forth. Now, after that, you're going to want to place another sticky piston here that has a spit out block, and this time you're going to want to place a piston on top of that, holding a redstone block, and when that retracts, it'll be powering these back pistons over here. Now, at this point, you're going to start to recognize things from the old version. This is still here, this redstone redirection trick with the repeater and stuff. And this will also be the same on this side of these pistons as well. So, same dealio with the redstone block there and the hopper dropper. And once again, this hopper dropper will be powering this block there and this torch. Now, after that, that's where the similarities end because we're going to be back in new territory. To power this back piston, instead of having one hopper dropper, what's better than one hopper dropper? We're going to have 2 hopper droppers, except they're not really a hopper dropper. It's more like a dropper, dropper, hopper, hopper. You guys will see what I mean in a second. So the first thing you want to do is place a dropper facing upwards, then a dropper facing into the side of that, and then 2 hoppers to connect them. See, there we go. Dropper, dropper, hopper, hopper. And then in the left dropper, you're going to want to place any item. and that will be powering the back piston through that comparator when it passes through that hopper. Now that is it for the main body of the redstone. If you guys want to learn how to build the button input, then stick around. Otherwise, you can click on the screen now, and that'll take you about like maybe 20 seconds into the future, and that'll land you exactly where the lever input will be started. So if you're here for the button one, then the first thing you want to do is place your button input, of course. Let me grab that. And we could place a torch here, and then you could recover whatever block you're using here. And then this is where our button, I lied, that's not where it's going to be. It's going to be over here, and I screwed up. Shift that one to the right, and then place a block there to power it instead. I'm sorry about that. And then on the other side of this, you're going to want to place another torch with another hopper dropper. This is like a hopper dropper orgy going on over here, and I'm enjoying every second of it. So after that, you're going to want to place an item in the hopper that's being locked by that dropper, and then a comparator there will round out this build, and now it actually works. Closing works great, and opening does too. Now if you want to stick around for the lever one, then go right ahead. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. But yeah, let's get started with the lever one now. Let me reset to the position where I had it earlier. Let me try to break this without screwing up anything, and let me grab my lever input. So if you're here for the lever input, then the first thing you want to do is place your lever, of course, and then this torch here will remove the need for having this torch here. And then the last thing you want to do is turn this into a dual edge detector by placing a sticky piston there holding a redstone block, and that is it for the lever input. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video once and for all. And be sure to check out all the links in the description. I believe there's about like 25 of them. But yeah, until next time, goodbye.